Story. The provincial government is denying tonight that it directed MUN to raise tuition fees for international and graduate students. In fact, the government now says it doesn't have the power to enforce a tuition freeze at all. And if MUN wants to raise tuition fees, the government doesn't have the power to stop it. NTV's Michael Connors joins us live with more. Michael?
Thank you very much, Glenn. Well, since 1999, tuition freezes at MUN have been presented as a matter of government policy. But after 16 years of frozen fees, the advanced education minister is now saying that the government can't actually enforce that freeze at all. In the provincial budget, the government explicitly announced it was maintaining the tuition freeze for Canadian undergraduate students, but it also cut MUN's budget by $20 million. So that has left the university to look at raising fees for international students, graduate students, and for students living in residence. But despite that announcement, Advanced Education Minister Clyde Jackman insists that he cannot tell MUN's Board of Regents what to do.
MUN, through its Board of Regents, they have autonomy. They decide. So where they decide to find their efficiencies, they can do that.
But successive provincial governments have taken credit for implementing that tuition freeze, and the policy has appeared in multiple election platforms. Tuition was first frozen by Premier Brian Tobin, it was lowered by Premier Roger Grimes, and frozen again by Premier Danny Williams. But today, Jackman said if the Board of Regents decided to ignore the government and raise tuition for Canadian undergraduate students, the government would not be able to stop it.
And we can offer up the support for that. But in the end, though, if Memorial President and the Board of Regents decided that they want to forge ahead with a tuition increase, that decision lies with them.
Really? I mean, the tuition freeze has been in place since 1999,
yep.
And it's always been presented as a government policy from Tobin through Grimes and
yep.
through Danny Williams. If the Board of Regents disobeyed that, would the government really allow that to stand?
Well, then I guess then what would happen is that you would have a university and a government who might be at odds with each other. We've offered the support, but in the end, we cannot force Memorial to go one way or the other. They decide.
Now, the government maintains that under provincial law, the Board of Regents is autonomous and that it has the sole authority to set tuition fees. On the other hand, the government controls the money and most of the appointments to the board. So now that the minister is saying that the board can effectively do whatever it wants with tuition fees, it would be very interesting to see what would happen if the board actually took him up on that offer. Glenn?
Thank you, Michael. Michael Connors reporting from